Ladies and gentlemen, to the DreamHack All-Stars Winter Clash here for Heroes of the Storm. We are in Group B at the moment, and we're going to be moving on to the second series in just a little bit between Virtus.Pro and Fnatic. Of course, we've had quite a lot of games so far, some damn good ones to say the least. Our previous series was a bit more one-sided in the end as things went on. Team Liquid already shown themselves good.
No more Linkin Park references.
I didn't do anything.
Did
we have enough after BlizzCon?
Yeah, after Chobra's hosting, like, it was enough for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, some pretty one-sided series prior to this, but now it's Virtus.Pro against Fnatic. Even though, you know, they've got a little bit of history, I feel like there's definitely more room for improvement in terms of game quality. Maybe that's one way to say it. And yeah, I'm hoping we see closer games.
All right, we shall see. We shall see. For now, though, of course, don't forget that you can be involved as well and have the opportunity to guarantee yourself Cho'Gall if you tune in at 6 p.m. tomorrow and link your BattleNet along with your Twitch ID as well. You guarantee yourself Cho'Gall on December the 4th at the latest. Also, you can hashtag DreamHack Plays Heroes, and you can tweet at us, and you could potentially get a code for Cho'Gall a little bit earlier than December the 4th, which is always nice here.
There he is.
The leader of the Twilight Hammer clan surging forwards there with his fist of power. I got really passionate about that one. All right. And also we can check in with the brackets as well as things continue on down the line. We're still in Group B, of course, here as we take a look at what is going on so far. Team Liquid have advanced on to the winners match. G2 once again find themselves in the losers match, unfortunately, after falling at the hands of Team Liquid. And now we move on to Virtus.Pro going up against Fnatic. This one, for me, might be one-sided, considering current form and current shape. Fnatic, so far, in recent times, have been looking really, really good. And a lot of teams are touting us as one of the best teams, actually, here at the moment.
Yeah,
Fnatic. Yes?
Yeah. Unlike other teams, Fnatic and Virtus.Pro haven't actually met each other during the Fragmite Masters. So there could be a little bit the element of surprise on the side of Virtus.Pro, unless they have scrimmed against each other before. But I mean, Virtus.Pro, they're just such a weird team. They used to be so strong, and then again, they're just not getting back into the old shape, old form.
The People's Champ BKB.
Yeah. What a baller. What a guy.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, Fnatic and Virtus.Pro didn't play in the Fragmite tournament because, let's be honest, Virtus.Pro had a much worse performance than Fnatic, who made it all the way to the finals, was leading 2-0 against Team Liquid, and then ended up losing 2-3. So they took runner-up. Virtus.Pro took third in the group stage.
Yes.
Didn't play it quite as well back then. So it's going to be a good opportunity here for them, where in a tournament that's definitely on a much bigger scale to try and redeem themselves.
Is it fair to say that Virtus.Pro have almost always played their own brand of heroes, even though the EU meta has continued on?
Oh, yeah. They're like one of the teams that when you see Nova come out from, you're not even surprised.
No.
Because they've just got so many of those, you know, weird picks that are actually very good with. That's Sefka.
So maybe a little bit more Thrall play coming out here, possibly. From Sefka, possibly.
I think he agrees.
Yes.
He took off his headset, he might have heard.
The thing about Sefka, though, is that he always goes for like very weird builds, it seems like a lot of the time. You know, like on Tyrande, like on any hero, really. Sometimes it's very hard to make sense out of what he's doing, but sometimes it seems like he's just like revolutionary. Power of Dreams here, the newer player.
Yes.
After Prague, I think they wanted to go through some changes, so they swapped out one of their players for Gela for some time, and now it seems like Power of Dreams is the choice that they went for here to play.
I like his name. It's looking very much like one of those names that you pick in a game where you're smurfing. Like, it's not really you've got a real name, and Power of Dreams is your dreamy alternate account where you're hiding who you are.
Maybe he's smurfing. Maybe it's Skinny-chan with the mask.
Well, of course, on the other side, we do have Fnatic, and they themselves have had roster changes. We have Smexy Style here to start things off. 2 members, in fact, that were from Pirates in Pajamas in the end. And then, of course, you have Shad, who was previously on ATN a little while ago. But they have been performing well with this roster recently.
And it's actually super interesting to me that both Fnatic and back then it was Pirates in Pajamas.
Yes.
They did pretty bad in Prague, let's be honest. They didn't do very well. And then they made a team out of 2 players from Fnatic, 2 players from Pirates in Pajamas, and somehow they're performing really well right now. What's this recipe to success here?
I have no logical explanation for this, by the way, but I think Team Fnatic, definitely a team that has a lot of fans here in Sweden. I mean, 2 of the players are from the vicinity here.
3.
3?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad then, even better for them. So they might actually be especially motivated to perform well here.
So
Actually, that's
home ground advantage, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, Todd was questioning, you know, how are they doing so well or whatever. And just in general, Sweden. I mean, Sweden's really good at esports, guys. I don't really know what to tell you. With Breeze being there, Quacknix and obviously Smexy Style, as the entire roster of Pirates in Pajamas in the prior were all from Sweden. Yeah, admittedly, they didn't do as great at the thingy, but now that, you know, they're doing good with Fnatic. So, and a little birdie has told me that Fnatic have been preparing interesting choices that they may use down the line in this tournament. I imagine that they might not use them early on here to try and hide them for later on.
Because usually what you would expect out of Fnatic is pretty standard stuff. You know, Breeze is known for his Muradin, you know, his Warriors, Johanna, Mene, Jaina, Keltas. Principally, I was just speaking with him. He was like, yeah, you know, a lot of ranged assassins, they played Sonya, but not me. I played her to level 10 just for the gold. He's like, yeah, there's no way I can play Sonya, so he's like, just not for me. And then you have Quacknix, who was one of the OGs to do a lot of, I think, Falstad, right?
He was
the one guy that was trying Falstad almost every game. Not quite successfully back then, but now that Falstad is a huge part of the meta, maybe it's time to bring him out again.
Yes, maybe. I think that definitely could surface here. And also, you know, they do have a good opportunity here to really put themselves present on the map very, very strongly against Virtus.Pro. Virtus.Pro have, in my opinion, evolved a little bit since, you know, their past kind of plays and stuff. I mean, look at a player like Andy Lendy. For a long time, he was only Jaina. Now he is like their true specialist. He plays a lot of different heroes.
It seems like not many teams, by the way, or like not that many teams bring out the Lieutenant Morales, the medic. Very few of them dare to try it, so it's going to be cool to see if maybe out of these 2 we see it come out.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I was talking to Bakery just before, and he's like, well, nobody else is playing it other than me, and I think it's actually overpowered and broken. So that's kind of how much confidence that they have in it, but not everyone in the European scene would seem to agree with him.
Yeah, we saw one Morales ban in the last series, but not picked.
Yeah.
Even though, like, Uther was up, Kerosene was up, Morales was banned. So there are some people that are highlighting her as a possible strong hero for specific situations, especially when you're not against an enemy dive composition where, you know, she's more fragile. But so far, not that many Morales yet.
Yeah, it almost seems that every team here has their own home support, their own special support that they like to run exclusively. Then, you know, the Karazim, the Morales on Dignitas, then we have the Uther on Team Liquid just doing a lot of work, and Brightwing for G2. So it's really going to be interesting to see what path Fnatic and Virtus.Pro go here.
Yeah, I have a lot of notes, but I don't want to look down at them while I'm on camera. And now I can because I'm not on camera. Brilliant. All right, great. So, yeah, they've been running some different things for sure or whatever. But another thing that Fnatic has had available to them is Damage Monk again. I mean, we've seen it before, and it does mess around with that whole support dynamic that goes on in a draft. So maybe we'll see things like Quacknix bust that out. He has played it in the past. We shall see as this continues on, as they now square off for our infamous coin toss. Very, very aggressive.
At least it's not the traditional DreamHack coin toss.
Oh, no.
If anyone remembers that.
The dreaded DreamHack coin toss tournament.
It's funny, actually, how they're facing. I feel like they're about to dance the haka, like, you know, the New Zealand.
Yeah, they could do that.
A scary dance.
Should we actually talk about... No, let's not talk about DreamHack coin toss.
No, that was a fateful event. I think Hellspawn's going to be really angry at us.
If you want to make sure that's your last DreamHack.
I liked it. I think it was really clever and well done. So
beautiful save.
I like, by the way, how they're flipping and doing maps around the trophy. It's like, remember what's at stake.
Ooh.
You're still very far from it, but you need to win here.
What do you think about coin toss where you actually catch it? I'm a bit more in favor of like dropping it on the ground, although in some cultures dropping money on the ground is bad superstition, bad mojo.
I agree. I think it should be done properly.
Yeah, on the ground. Maybe it rolls away. Okay, whatever. You know, that's fate then.
It's a coin toss meta. What's going on?
Yeah, like you need to catch the coin and then flip it on your other pawn.
Oh, no, I like that.
If you are a juggler, or like some kind of magician, you can catch the coin, put it on your hand. Like you can decide which side of the coin it is.
So if you're grubby, you can do that.
No.
So the moral
I can't
of the
even
story,
catch the coin. That's actually why I don't like it.
Grubby only catches donations.
The moral of the story is don't invite David Blaine as an admin to your tournament at DreamHack.
Who's David Blaine? Football player? Is he?
Yeah. Whatever.
Which team does he play for?
All right. Well, yeah, we have Virtus.Pro here just discussing a little bit. These two
What
are
do you think about that
notorious.
coin flip? Do you think we should have picked heads? No?
Back to the coin meta. Yeah.
Right.
Now, stylistically, these two teams, even though they've had lineup changes, in particular Fnatic, they are two teams that have always played pretty aggressive.
Yeah, I agree.
As opposed to teams like Rocket, who have been known to definitely play things a little bit slower at times. So we can definitely expect fireworks, in particular if the drafts are, I guess, making both teams lean towards playing more aggressive.
I don't think we've seen too much solo support Tyrande, if I'm not mistaken.
She always gets banned.
She was banned, exactly.
Oh, that's true. Never mind. But the thing is that Virtus.Pro is a team that very much so likes to run that as a solo support, and it has been very common in their recent drafts.
Virtus.Pro is one of the most innovative teams in
agree.
Europe, maybe in the world as well. Like I remember actually when they first. There's so many things that they did first, really, like the TRL. Falstad originally, they played with a lot of Tyrande, and then Shadowstalk. I remember I kept criticizing it. Now, nobody would even consider going for Starfall, so maybe they were right.
I know one person who still goes Starfall. But yeah, it's pretty much all about the Shadowstalk. You go Starfall?
I mean, yeah.
Come on, call them out, Grubby.
Nice.
I do you?
Dirty Starfall user. Loving those slows and damage, don't you?
You go Shadowstalk?
I mean, yeah, of course.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good, to say the least. Even Hunter Swiftness at level 20 is something that people are really enjoying around and playing with at the moment, which is cool, considering that, you got Storm Shield and stuff like that, but it really adds a new dynamic.
In Todd's defense, though, I think Starfall was a great heroic ability on Haunted Mines, but we don't have it in the map pool anymore, and Todd's not playing anymore. So
thanks, Kendrick.
it's a thing of the past.
Not needed, really.
Rest in peace, Haunted Minds. I have to cry again. Thanks, Kendrick.
That had nothing to do with Todd. He just went for you. That was great. But no, for sure. It's something that is interesting, and also something like they still very much so prefer Tyrael over a lot of other warriors. Even Arthas is something that has come into play a lot for them, despite him not being as top tier as he used to be. So are we still expecting these kinds of choices here from Virtus.Pro?
I mean, it's Virtus.Pro. Like it's pretty hard to predict them to go for all standard picks here, ATC and all these guys. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I'm really excited because I usually don't, for some miraculous reason, whenever I watch Professional Heroes of the Storm, I never catch the matches from Virtus.Pro. So it's going to be very curious for me as well.
You never what?
I never catch the matches from Virtus.Pro.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, I don't know. I always tune in at the wrong moment. So I'm looking forward
Maybe
to
you tune in and you see the draft and you're like, what is this random stream? Like, what are they doing? Wrong game. So you just stop watching, but it's actually Virtus.Pro playing and doing their thing.
I know for a fact Heroes of the Storm doesn't have Murlocs, so this must be the wrong game. I don't watch World of Warcraft.
All right, well, these two teams are just waiting a little bit longer to get into the draft. But looking at how things fare between these two teams, looking at the form of Fnatic at the moment, is there going to be... Yeah, it's beautiful.
Super Saiyan, man.
Are we expecting Fnatic to kind of get the win here? Is that kind of unanimous?
So. Yeah.
I mean, just by the level that they're showing the recent results, anyone would point to the paper and say, like, the odds are on Fnatic, but it's always a surprise. You come to a tournament like this, you just don't know what a team has brought to the table. There's many ways to win Heroes of the Storm. You can win by the map, by the objective, XP. You can go for stun comps, sustain comps. So Virtus.Pro, if they have the right formula here, they could do it.
I was about to say, there is maybe a little bit of pressure on Fnatic in terms of they know they're going in as the favorites, but at the same time, if you look at the other side of this, you've got a player like Power of Dreams, who I don't think has ever really participated in a LAN, which is a very interesting dynamic again.
Could be getting nervous here for sure. The thing about Fnatic, though, is that some of the players that they have on their team right now are still just on trial. So even though they did pretty well in the Fragby tournament, that was just an online tournament. They need to confirm here. So they might have some extra pressure added from this as well. Like, as far as I know, Mene and Breeze are fully part of the team. But most of the other players, they are still trying out.
I think just before they actually confirmed the signing of Smexy Style and Quacknix just today. So
you sure? Because I spoke with Mene an hour ago and he told me.
Well, maybe they don't know.
He's been forced into a contract, slave labor.
But no, so it was posted by actually the Score eSports.
Wow.
There you go. There you go.
It must be
If
true
we had
then.
read it more carefully, Grubby, we wouldn't know.
Yeah, you keep pulling out your phones for the app and you don't see this. I don't know what you're doing, guys. Sorry. But no, so apparently that was confirmed that they had signed. So at least that is there. Maybe, I'm not sure, 100% sure about Shad.
If the Score eSports said it, I believe 100%.
I do too.
Best reporting website.
Yeah, man, they've got loads of stuff on there. It's fantastic. We do have Fnatic ready up in the draft. We're just waiting here for a moment for Virtus.Pro to get going.
That was Mene.
That was
my fellow
Mene?
Frenchman.
You have a friend?
What a hero.
Yes?
He's a hero. He's my hero.
He's an interesting
He's
character.
a funny guy, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you can, like, you know, I barely know him. I met him in Prague for the first time, but like he was like very outgoing, like, you know, talking about a lot of stuff. So
I mean, these two teams are very friendly with each other. I mean, BKB and Mene, friends for life, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Bros.
Bros.
Yeah, actually, I feel like Virtus.Pro, they have a few players that are like very reserved.
Yeah.
And then there's BKB and Sefka that's like, they are like always hanging out with each other. Like this guy on your screen here is like one of the most outgoing and coolest Heroes of the Storm player that I've ever met, I think.
If you
Just,
want to
like,
have a
always
night
chilling.
of fun,
Yeah.
play Heroes of the Storm with BKB.
A duo Q specialist.
One thing I was going to ask is, because we see now that the map is going to be Battlefield of Eternity, but why haven't we seen any Garden of Terror today or any Blackheart's Bay?
That's a good
Because
point,
people want
actually.
to end before 5 a.m.
Well, guys, we can get into the draft now, as it's already begun, and we do have Abathur ban over on the side of Virtus.Pro. Fnatic's going to ban out Tyrande, surprise, surprise, and then we go over to good old Kael'thas as our first pickup.
Yeah.
All right. ETC will get counter-picked here for Fnatic. Falstad follow up as well. Falstad getting picked earlier and earlier in the draft.
Yeah, it's a common side almost. Tyrande, I mean, I feel sorry for her. She just wants to enter in the Nexus and be of good use to her team. And makes it very easy for the analyst, by the way. Tyrande almost 100% ban.
Yeah. And Abathur so much. Like we
Yeah.
don't have a 100% ban rate on Abathur, but we do have a 0% pick rate.
Yeah, he's
But
very close.
he's this threat in the air. We've seen Tyrande slip through the bans,
Yeah.
and she gets picked immediately.
We're bound to see him at some point, I feel like.
Abathur?
Yeah.
I think if you want to look at the Abathur ban so much, I think something that is very, very prevalent when Abathur manages to get through a draft is the fact that it's very, very annoying to play against because almost everybody takes Toxic Nests at level 7.
Yeah. The
And
Vile
then you
Nest,
can't, the Vile Nest, and then you can't get over the other side of the map without spending 60 seconds to do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
Muradin gets picked up here from Virtus.Pro, and who do they want to close things out here
Maybe
before the second banning
Tassadar.
phase? Uther?
Tassadar, Uther. I think Uther should not be like picked that early anymore. Maybe
TRL
like
comes out.
third, fourth is okay for Uther.
You know which hero I also like on Battlefield Eternity? It's Sagara. I think she's really strong here.
Yeah.
Dominating the middle with her creep tumors,
Yeah.
providing vision to everybody.
If you're very good at positioning, I guess she's going to be a very strong damage dealer, pusher on the lane.
Almost
Yeah.
every specialist is better on Battlefield of Eternity, including Nazeebo. Maybe Nazeebo with gathering power is a possibility here.
No, it's not.
Even some of the things that they've been preparing in secret, which we won't allude to just yet, but once we get there, maybe we can actually speak about them. Don't want to give the game away just yet.
All right, Tassadar gets removed. The Tyrael pick, of course, very strong with that sanctification. Although we see Judgment now and then, but sanced the trending ult. So Uther gets removed.
okay,
We'll not see
interesting.
this old man at all. Nice.
No
They
one
might
match.
have special plans here. You know, we talked about Morales earlier. How likely is Morales to come out here?
That's a good question, actually. You can get away with it on Battlefield for Eternity. I like how you say Uther's an old man when technically he's like dead. That's pretty old. Yeah.
Spoiler, I haven't played WoW yet.
What, Warcraft 3? I think you've played Warcraft 3.
He doesn't die, does he?
Yes, he does.
In
You didn't play the campaign?
He just
No, I played it, but
Actually,
I must have blocked it out.
I tallied it up recently. 18 of the 45 heroes in this game are dead.
Really?
Yes.
Try not to think too much
Guess what?
about it.
They
Uther
came back
said.
to
It's
life.
quite a morbid thought. I'm sorry, but there you
Sonya
go.
gets picked up here for Fnatic.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks for getting us back on track. Sorry. I
Yeah,
was-
We're going off track a little bit too much. I know it's late, guys, but we need to stay focused here.
There
So
you go.
Sonya gets picked up. There's no secondary support. Tyrael as a warrior is a secondary support, so they're just going to take Karazim already
Yeah.
to follow up with that.
Doesn't,
TC Sonya Karazim?
Sonya Karazim.
doesn't necessarily have to be a full support Karazim, though. You can never be too sure. I mean,
I did mention that Quacknix does
Yeah.
like to play this Karazim, which is
so
the damage.
So they could go like Brightwing Mal finally, possibly.
Well, I mean, they're potentially just restricting Virtus.Pro in general, or they could be restricting themselves if Virtus.Pro picks up a healer that they want, but then again, you have the option with Karazim to just say, okay, yeah, our draft didn't work out that well, so maybe we can just go into the healing for that.
Yeah, Fnatic doesn't have a healer yet, so they're gonna they have Karazim, assuming is gonna be playing damage.
Potentially.
So Virtus.Pro can kind of force something here if they were to pick a healer that they think could be good for Fnatic if they wanted to play Karazim as damage. That was pretty long, but
That's fine.
I think you get it. They go for Raynor here to try and deal with the ETC and Sonya as well as possible. Now, who's the best healer that they can add to this?
Big Mouth, probably.
The thing is that Reyna, once again, has that dual purpose of, if it is a damaged Karazim, being able to knock him back is actually really strong.
TRL Mouth, the good old sanctification into tranquility here could be great.
You're all 30% life, now you're invulnerable, now you're full. Lovely, let's re-engage. And Raynor is perfect for that, because he puts out very steady damage.
And it's perfect against 7-sided strike as well.
Yeah.
Just like completely dodge it and go back to full hit points pretty much instantly. Raynor and Kaltas will finish the job with TRL and Merlin tanking at the front.
Not so sure about Morales here.
Okay. Kendrick.
Say what?
I wasn't actually.
You weren't so sure.
I wasn't actually sure about Morales here because Battlefield of Eternity doesn't really favor one of her biggest strengths, which is of course the mobility that comes from Medivac. But then again, if you have such a tight team comp protected by Murden and Turiel, I think
Steam drone.
Could be Stim Drone.
could be
Raynor.
Stidron with Raynor.
Yes, that
And
could
I would be a
definitely
big
work.
fan. I think it's a vastly underrated heroic ability.
The biggest problem is the wind-up time. Like,
Yeah.
it's a really
It does hurt.
powerful, but Morales is like a 1-second gank target while she's winding up the Stim Drone.
Do you want to know the most beautiful cheese in Heroes of the Storm? Well, actually, it's not the most beautiful, but it's certainly one of them. Stim Drone on Muradin when he's in Avatar. Stun, 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 stun.
Oh,
It's
yeah, that's-
really annoying. Really, really annoying.
Probably
Kills
not that
nobody.
bad.
It's not, no, it's not that bad. That's why I say it's a cheese, but
So what does Fnatic take? Will they put Karazim in the damage department and take a support here? Or are they going to get maybe a second warrior or even a third damage dealer?
You know what? If Muradin takes Give him the Axe at 16, and then we get a Stim Drone on him.
oof.
That's pretty sick, actually.
Yeah, that would be so cool. And it would
Oh,
be
it is a
Jaina.
third damage dealer.
Wow.
Oh, okay, so Karazim is the support. I've got 3 damage dealer, Falstad, Sonya, and Jaina.
The mission for Fnatic, reaching more or less.
Yes, exactly.
Basically, yeah. And the thing is that if you do position yourself, I feel, in the middle well...
Yeah, on this map, you can
it's
actually go all the way around,
Yeah.
like flank from behind.
Yeah.
If you catch Morales and kill her.
Jaina often does that over a wall, like a Blizzard Cone of Cold combo.
Yes.
You can just kill someone from 100 to 0.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
Is it going to be my man Mene on Jaina?
Maybe. There are some great flanking opportunities, though. You are definitely right with that. Considering how much of the weird stalemates you see in the middle of Battlefield of Eternity, then it goes on for eternity, and then you have so much time to get those flanks off, right?
And then,
Yeah.
then there's still Falstad being able to use Mighty Gust to sort of make Morales fly into your allies. So that's also something that we shouldn't overlook.
Yeah,
So
there's
who do
potential.
we think won the draft?
Kailaris.
Wait, whoa,
Given
I'm
the
host.
draft, who do you give sway to?
Oh. Fnatic. Still.
It looks a
still.
lot better for them, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jaina flanks are going to be deadly, I feel like. If she whether she catches Raynor or Morales,
And the thing is, Sonya is still pretty mobile herself beyond level 13 when
Yeah.
it comes to Mystical Spear.
Usually when you look at a draft of Virtus.Pro, though, it doesn't necessarily always make sense. Or actually, to be honest, even during the game, it doesn't necessarily make sense. But then they've pulled off rabbits out of hats. Like, they've made magic happen in some of these games with some weird talents and stuff. So I guess we'll have to see and find out.
and if
All right.
Raynor can get level 20, of course he
That's
is
true.
a true force.
With Steam Drone,
When Stim Drone, if it
reaping the
comes.
pepperonis.
Oh my god.
That would be very scary.
OMG.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. It's going to be game number 1 here between Virtus.Pro and Fnatic here in Group B to decide who moves on to the winner's match to play against Team Liquid. Take it away, Todd and Kendrick.
Thank you very much, buddy. So, welcome to Battlefield of Eternity. We see Virtus.Pro in the blue colors here. Sefkaya on the Raynor, then we have Power of Dreams, the new boy, so to speak, on the Muradin. Unstable here on the Lieutenant Morales and the Lendi, rocking the Kel'Thas. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't think I forgot anyone here. On the right side, we have Fnatic. We have Smexy style here on the Karazim, Mene on the Jaina, Quacknix on the Falstad. Reese going in here, can't even do the introduction to an end here. Not too bad though, not too bad. It wasn't enough to take the cow down.
Gonna be able to make it out of there, and it is Mene actually on the Jaina, so gonna be looking out a lot for his positioning in those fights, probably trying to flank all the way around to catch, ideally, I guess, either Rainer, Kael'thas, or maybe the medic. And when the first immortals are going to come into play here, that's when things are going to get interesting. Before that, usually there's not really any takedown that's happening for some time.
Yeah, and this time, you know, we're not seeing a damage Kharazim, so we go back to the good old Transcendence, you know, providing a nice amount of healing every third basic attack that Kharazim is doing. So, Warpaint, by the way.
Sonya didn't go for Shot of Fury, did she?
Yeah. No, that's Warpaint, actually. So it's like a lifesteal. Every attack she does, and that can be quite powerful, especially during the mid and late game when her basic attacks just hit like a truck.
Yeah, actually, with ETC maybe helping a little bit in those fights, you know, doing a lot of the tanking at the front, that can come in really handy, I guess.
Yeah, if ETC and Sonya stick together like best buddies, he's going to increase her attack speed tremendously.
Are we going to see Mighty Gust for sure here?
I mean, we've been waiting for Hinterland Blast like all day long.
But against a medic and a Tyrael, like, can it be good?
I mean, last game we had Tyrael with Judgment and Nova. I don't think you can have a better team.
How did that go?
No Hinterland Blast was picked, so it might be one of the secret tactics for Fnatic, but let's wait until level 10 before we make any more assumptions.
Both teams are actually going for the full race here. And right now, looks like Fnatic is doing a little bit better here with this.
Just a normal DPS race, you know, both teams trying to avoid any sort of early team fight. And, you know, they're not going to change that behavior. And I think Fnatic is probably going to be a little bit faster.
Yeah.
It really depends on how well you can dodge the AoE stun coming from the Immortal and how frequently you get hit by those things, because it really slows down your DPS process.
Yeah, so Fnatic do get the first one here, very nicely done by them. They're actually a little bit ahead on experience as well. If they can keep that up, definitely going to be nice. Usually on this map, you see 5 heroes go to wherever the Immortal's not going, but now Falstad chose to stay at top because he can fly down there anyway if he has to, and he wanted to make sure that he's soaking up there. And they're actually going to push with 4 heroes and the Immortal.
So here, very standard power slide build coming in from the ETC. Whoa, Seth Kaya getting
that was so close.
Touched by the enemy here just a little bit. We can now see, by the way, Lieutenant Morales going for the advanced block. Shows he's playing really safe against a very strong Falstad, you know, who can potentially shred her.
Rainer gets blown up here this time around. He already was in a risky situation earlier, and now out of position for just 1 second, gonna get punished for it, and Fnatic have now some nice experience lead here out of this.
So already a little bit of sloppiness coming in here from Virtus.Pro. And that early on in the game, you should not lose a hero.
Especially on a map where, since he went for Seasoned Marksman, he can only get stacks out of one single lane. Now that's gonna break his rhythm here early on in the game a little bit.
Yeah, and now we see BKB hiding in the fog here. At the same time, Shed, you know, doing the goatees. Sunny is such a strong hero when it comes to clearing mercenary camps by herself.
Can Virtus.Pro realize that Sonya is doing a camp here? Because it'd be really nice for them to contest. Oh, Falstad gave it away a little bit here.
A little bit. What? Oh.
It's okay. They captured it before, though.
Yeah, really nice. Sometimes you just don't want to reveal what your allies are doing. That was a little bit risky here.
By the way, Quacklink's on the Falstad. Called it even before the draft. He loves his Falstad. Already did a while back in Prague. Was playing with it quite a bit.
I think he just wants to be a pirate riding a parrot.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? If I had to pick a life.
I'm just picturing Kailaris with like a pirate eye patch and the hat, riding a parrot. That's a beautiful sight.
So if Kalaris would be the pirate, what would Grubby be?
The guy washing the deck on the boat.
Nice little detail here, by the way. They didn't really capture the mercenary camp. They're waiting a little bit longer for the second Immortal phase to start. So the Shaman is actually possible to apply a lot of pressure while both teams are busy fighting middle.
Yeah, I think if they had known that the Immortal would take this long to come up, they would have probably captured it immediately and then headed to the bottom and gotten the 6 o'clock.
Virtus.Pro, on the other hand, they are capturing it immediately.
Yeah. And with the Immortals coming up, we should be seeing here both teams regrouping around that area, making sure that they can go to work on it again.
Still no brawls.
Both teams are going to race it, but Fnatic doing a lot better once more.
Yeah, they arrived earlier, and that displacement grenade by Unstable won't change anything here.
It seems like VP, by the way, they don't want to go for a fight or any kind of contest here, which might actually hint big time that they want to play the late game. They are fine with not taking fights and losing the Immortal as long as he doesn't have too much shield. And it makes sense. They have a Rainer. If they can reach level 20 and they have Nexus Frenzy, they're going to be okay.
Exactly.
They're going to be more than okay, actually.
That's actually a really good position for Virtus.Pro to be in because it forces Fnatic towards their own half of the map, right? It requires Fnatic to get a little bit closer, and fighting near an enemy Immortal can always turn a fight around that actually might have not looked so good in the first place.
Oh, this is really cool what Virtus.Pro is doing, keeping 3 heroes here near their Immortal while they're soaking at top and bottom at the same time. They're going to regroup around the Immortal now. They're ready to fight, looks like, but BKB takes a lot of damage and has to Eldritch Mines out of there.
Nice escape there, but at the same time it causes him to use the healing fountain, and that always takes a little bit of time to restore all lost health here. So, you know, Fnatic, they're not capitalizing on it, they're just retreating, regrouping.
One single takedown so far in 6 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely the action-packed game that this could have been. And I feel like it's mostly because Virtus.Pro have to play very defensive because they have a Rainer.
Look at that, Virtus.Pro actually retreated from their own Immortal to soak a little bit, but Fnatic, man, they smelled that and returned to it immediately. Now Breeze is in a lot of trouble. The cow is saved by his good buddy Smexy style, though. And Sev kind of dropping reload, but you can see the power of Lieutenant Morales. Probably has the strongest single target heal in the game right now. And ever since the scaling changes, she actually has better numbers than before.
ATC tapped the fountain here, is right back in there, and Fnatic should be looking at yet another Immortal here in a second, which Virtus.Pro is trying to defend right now, but you can defend it all you want. That means that you're not going to be doing any damage to your opponent's Immortal.
I think both teams, you know, they don't want to commit themselves too hard. Fnatic, at the same time, they're trying to finish it somehow because that final Immortal push here could actually cause them to be 10 a little bit sooner than the opposing team.
Yeah, let's see both teams regroup around it here once again. Sonya still staying at the top, making sure she can soak. Fnatic need to be careful. This could be a 4-on-5 if they get engaged into.
Yeah. Like, Sonya really has to hurry up and regroup the team. Normally, Falstad should be the one to split push.
Oh, Mene gets caught.
Oh, Mene. He needs the support, but it didn't really escalate. Good saving here. Also, Virtus.Pro a little bit hesitant because, of course, they don't want to lose the Immortal, but at that stage, they couldn't have prevented it any longer.
Yeah, I think Karzin went shield on level 4 as well, so this definitely can help if somebody gets caught like this very nicely. And now the Immortal.
Yeah. Don't even need
be
the
headed
Immortal
to the top
push.
lane.
Yeah, there we go. Level 10 heroic abilities have now been unlocked. We see the Mosh Pit, of course, coming in for the ETC. Once again, no Hinterlands Blast, unfortunately, Todd. But I think the Mighty Gust is just too tempting. It has so much utility. It can isolate targets. It can put the Morales into your allies. And you just don't want to give up on it.
Wrath of the Berserker, Divine Palm, and Ring of Frost. Virtus.Pro, they're trying to weather the storm here. They're trying to stay alive in this to get the heroics and eventually go into some sort of a fight. Sanctification, Avatar, Phoenix.
I like it quite a bit.
And Hyperion once more. We never see Rainer Traders, man. I give up.
Yeah, not only could Sanctification, by the way, do a good job against enemy abilities, but also against the Immortal, right?
That's Team Drone, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Out of Medic. So Rainer looking to try. Looking to try and wait for, I guess, the late game if he can here. Ideally level 20 to try and wreck. Yeah.
But even before level 20, I think a stim-powered Rainer is actually one of the scariest heroes to face here. Especially if he picks up something like a Giant Killer. At level 13, that is actually enough already.
Yeah, which he is going to here, no matter what, against Sonya.
Oh, absolutely.
Plus the ETC.
Yeah.
So Virtus.Pro, it's funny because Virtus.Pro, if you think like, if anybody asked you who's one of the most aggressive teams out there, you'd probably think Virtus.Pro. So right now, maybe they're playing to their image, and they pick this, and Fnatic were like very confused. They're like, they're gonna play aggressive, right? It's Virtus.Pro, but no, they've played pretty defensive. They've avoided every single fight that they could, and right now they actually could find themselves in danger here if they were to be caught. But it looks like they're gonna be able to pull back on time.
Fnatic, they thought about a flanking maneuver here. You could see that they were trying to come from behind. You know, there was also a little bit of fog, you know, covering them. But at the, Virtus.Pro, they have good spider tech. Spider sense is tingling.
Still one single takedown at minute 10 here, Kendrick. That's not the kind of game you see out of Virtus.Pro usually ever.
Especially if you compare it to your solo queue experience, where Battlefield of Eternity is just a slugfest in the middle of the map. Both teams, trying to get the Immortal under control. This game is very disciplined and very patient.
Yeah, we fight a lot just to fight, especially if we're behind. How else are you gonna come back?
All right, so Fnatic, they just have to be a little bit more patient. Level 13 talents are going to kick in soon. Quacknick's flying down there, you know, defending the towers in the fort a little bit more.
Hey, it's not going so bad, to be honest, right now. Like, they've lost 2 forts.
Yeah.
But as long as Virtus.Pro can keep on weathering the storm, even though they're losing these Immortals here in the middle, just defend it with 5 every time, and they're going to be all right.
Yeah, in fact, you know,
This is actually, sorry, but like this is going to be a very important time right now, because it's going to be the 13 against 12, and there is a chance that Fnatic, like, they properly try to get a very good engagement, and they have a lot of potential. If Falstad gets a good Mighty Gust.
Here we go, they're going in. Sonya, you heard that battle cry. Always a very fearful thing to listen to, but they didn't really commit. Once again, Sonya also here with the giant, Falstad, pardon me, also with the giant killer coming in. So I don't think Virtus.Pro is actually brave enough to face Fnatic just yet. Instead, they're just going to try to diminish the amount of health and shields that the enemy Immortal is going to have to sort of, you know, take the lesser evil.
They try to split the first half here as much as possible. Going all the way around, they're dodging them completely.
I mean, this is almost a chicken game here. I mean, I've never seen a team that passive in a long time. And how are you just going to win the game if you let the enemies take control of every single Immortal? At some point, you have to make a move, even if it means to maybe take a team fight when you're a talent behind.
They're aiming for the late game. I think Fnatic has already realized what was happening, so they're going to try to do as much damage as possible to keep their experience leads. Ideally, be up 1 talent whenever the fight happens here, if they can force it.
So they kept them busy in top lane, you know, with the Bruiser camp. Meanwhile, the big fat Immortal is making its push towards the second defensive ring of the blue base, that is Virtus.Pro's base, and it's still pretty powerful. Almost 50% of the shield was remained. So we're going to see what Virtus.Pro is trying to do. They have now caught up in talent, so just at the nick of time. Now we see Turiel in a little bit of trouble. Eldrain's Might, Angelic Flesh, very, very nicely done.
Power Dream here was in a little bit of trouble, gets out of there just on time, unstable, keeping everybody alive.
Yeah, and you can really see how patient Fnatic is playing this. Waiting behind the Immortal, letting this neutral map objective taking the hits, and also weaken the keep. And if they get a keep here, whoa, Mighty Gust putting them away to break the formation and prevent Virtus.Pro from defending efficiently. And now they can just pull back, but BKB, he doesn't want to let them escape. Sanctification going down. Is it going to be enough though? The counter Mosh Pit, Ring of Frost follow-up. A lot of damage coming in, but the Rainer, he's trying his best to do it.
He's not dying though.
No, he's not dying. In fact, the Hyperion, not really. There we go, you can see the Stim Drone.
Yeah, Medic kept him alive for a very long time. The Steam Drone was used a little bit too late though, I think, and that's going to be a huge fight loss here for Virtus.Pro, who were trying to fight before they were going to be 1 talent down. It's going to be 4 traded for just 1.
And they're just rotating. They are, you know what, Todd? They're going for the second keep here.
I mean, they can quite easily. If they... Like, this wasn't supposed to happen here. Virtus.Pro, I don't think they had envisioned them losing the fight this hard, but it was going to happen anyway eventually with the next Immortal that they were going to get. But no, it's just ideal for Fnatic, because now the next Immortal is going to be knocking down on that core very quickly if they get it. So, and they should be able to get it.
I think what was the problem here for Virtus.Pro was actually also the fact that Lieutenant rallies get interrupted when she tried to cast Stim Drone for the first time. And whenever you have a spell that has a slow casting animation, like Thrall's Thundering, for instance, and you get interrupted during that process, the heroic ability goes on a 10-second cooldown. And I think that's what delayed that ever so important Stim Drone in the last engagement.
Yeah, maybe not the best of engagements or even decision altogether here from Virtus.Pro, who are going to fall quite a bit behind, having lost 2 keeps with the Immortals. Now going to come back. Fnatic riding some incredible momentum here in map number 1 of the series.
And it's basically like a permanent, you know, hunt to catch up. Once again, they're 1 talent behind, Virtus.Pro that is. And once again, an Immortal is going to spawn in the middle of the map. And it's just very frustrating at that point, because you never feel like you have the chance to actually catch up.
They may be losing patience, actually. I'm really afraid that Virtus.Pro fights here way too early. Might be forced into it.
Gravity Labs didn't really connect on Shad here.
They're going to race it.
But still, you should not underestimate the power of an Immortal.
They're going to try to fight next to their Immortal here.
That is a very good move in my opinion. And if one of Fnatic's team members displaces them in a bad place, gets stunned, could get picked off.
Look at that Phoenix. Run away. So 3 are going to cover while 2 are walking on the Immortal across. They're going to come back and fight,
Also here, the thing is, But while Virtus.Pro is
Look at
defending-
Mini.
Yeah. That's a really... Oh, he's trying to flank here, coming from behind. Andy Landy is probably his target of choice here. Kalthus, of course, being very squishy, and he doesn't have the Arcane Barrier yet. So either Kalthus or Lieutenant Morales. There we go. He's unleashing the Cone of Cold, the Blizzard, the Ring of Frost. It's going to be enough. Kalthus, the Blood Mage, is going to fall here. And Fnatic haven't actually taken a scratch here. Everybody's in good shape.
Quacknick's taking a little bit of damage, but they can chase here behind this. They can try to catch everybody. Still got a few heroics. Mosh pits available. Gonna get cancelled.
Shad going in. Power of Dreams very low in the Muradin here. Is he gonna fall? Morales now in range of the healing beam, but man, the cow is mad. Breeze is still going ham, going strong. Stun and face melt. And that means, you know, Fnatic is gonna have this Immortal for show. Another kill. Triple.
Virtus.Pro right out of patience, and with it out of luck. Fnatic take some decisive wins here in some of these fights, and they're going to find themselves very far ahead. Should be an easy Immortal here. And with it, maybe the final push as well as catapults.
And
knock
that's
on the doors
actually
here
the
of,
dilemma here
Virtus.Pro
on Battlefield of Eternity. Even while you're trying to defend your own Immortal, that means you're probably not going to soak a lot of XP. And that, in my opinion, was what broke the back here of Virtus.Pro, because they just couldn't get that 16 talent before it was necessary. Right now, though, they got it. So maybe there's still a little glimmer of hope to make a hold.
They need to win a fight. I mean, eventually, it's going to be a lot of pressure on Raynor's shoulders here.
Yeah,
see if he can make something happen.
Also,
with
Morales' shoulder. She needs to get that stim drone going on the Raynor.
This Immortal is going to be a pretty mean one. Almost full shield as well on it. They want to end the game here, Fnatic.
Yeah.
They've had a convincing run so far. 8 takedowns to 1 single one.
Yeah.
And looks like Virtus.Pro might just be ready to go straight into a fight here.
Not the best position to be in. I mean, that team might actually get isolated here. Unstable needs to be careful. Lieutenant Morales a little bit too far up front. Power of Dream, once again, even the Avatar doesn't keep him alive forever.
Steam drone was used, but Sefka's not even attacking here. This is a disaster. They pull back to try and defend the Immortal. That was beautifully done from Fnatic to pull back as well, to let the Immortal threat be out there. Power of Dream getting targeted down.
Oh, very bad place to be, and Sanctification was cast here. But is it going to be enough? I don't think so. The Immortal hasn't even lost its shield. So Fnatic here on the pass. There we go. GG. What a quick game. What a game on Battlefield of Eternity. And stellar performance by Fnatic. Never getting impatient, always staying safe, staying calm. And if they continue like this, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with.
You love that term, too.
I love that term.
Virtus.Pro definitely lost patience though here. They were not supposed to fight like this. I mean, especially like when you make a first mistake, you definitely shouldn't go for another one. You know, like they were level 15 against almost 17. They shouldn't have been moving out and taking the fight, but maybe they thought that if the Immortal was captured, it was going to be bad. But sometimes being bad is not as terrible as being horrible that you lose the game right after. So like, yeah, sometimes you need to learn to kind of sit back and be patient, and they kind of lost theirs.
I wouldn't want to be in the shoes of Virtus.Pro's captain, BKB, because I think to analyze what went wrong in that game is going to be a really hard task. I mean,
well, I mean, don't play passive again. Play something aggressive.
Exactly.
Play something that they're used to, because
it might have also been a little bit the battleground here. Battlefield of Eternity might not be their cup of tea, but at the same time, what are you going to pick here? What map do you want to play if a two-lane map like Battlefield of Eternity doesn't work for you? Do you go for Cursed Hollow in the next game?
It's all about that tomb or the Spider Queen.
Yeah, probably. We have to take either of one of those choices here. Anyway, we shouldn't really put them out just yet. I mean, they have great potential. They have a stable lineup. They've been through worse times already. And maybe they can make a comeback?
Hey, Elias, any thoughts?
Hi. It's interesting to see how the drafts have really worked out. I mean, it really looked like Fnatic never dropped the ball in that entire game. They were almost always in control of it. And we kind of said exactly what was going to happen with those mid-engagements, right? With Jaina always getting those flank potentials. Even when he didn't hit the exact combo on Kael'thas in one of those final fights, he was still able to do huge amounts of damage from the position he was in. So it all really worked out for Fnatic. It all looked very, very good.
Yeah, they definitely were very convincing, but their composition definitely something they were comfortable with. Here we see a very important push that took place at the bottom, in which Fnatic's synchronizing and synergy was really beautiful. Every time they pulled back when they knew the Immortal was still doing damage, they disengaged before finally turning around and taking the fight that they thought was going to be good.
I was really surprised that BKB went in as aggressively as he did then, and then used Sanctification. He basically saved himself with Sanctification and nothing else for that moment in time. So it was at a very aggressive stance, which technically is very Virtus.Pro-esque.
Sefka shouldn't have pulled back, by the way. He should have kept on attacking until he either died or won the fight.
That's the
Virtus.Pro way. Yeah, I don't know, that fight just
Once again, we could really see, by the way, how late Stim Drone was being used. Mighty Gust, also a really good tool to actually split them apart. So you're being slowed for a very short amount of time. So it actually causes you to take a lot longer to reach your target and cast Stim Drone as well.
Grubby makes a really good point before. Thanks, Grubby.
Yeah, good job, man.
Thanks.
That it does have a considerable wind-up time to then, you know, all of your actions in these fights are extremely, extremely important. So there definitely, you know, is that moment where, do I throw down Stim Drone now, but I need to be healing someone at the same time? There's that kind of weird dynamic where it does hurt.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yep. Actually, that was really good. Yeah, it's exactly what I was thinking. So going into game number 2 now, is there really a good way here for Virtus.Pro to try and catch up? Is there some way that they can...
Don't ever play defensive ever again.
No?
Because that's not them. Just play aggressive. Do what you usually do. Like, I mean, playing with the Rainer is fine, but their whole composition and draft on this map just made them have to play so defensive they just didn't work out. Maybe if they hadn't fell behind at any point, they would have been okay, but realistically, they were always going to fall behind against this kind of composition.
Yeah, it did look very, very powerful there from Fnatic. A very, very good start to their campaign here at DreamHack. And, you know, I kind of wanted to allude to the point that we made at the very, very beginning of this tournament, is that there are so many good teams, even I should say, that look really good here. The European scene is in so much turmoil, and there has been so many roster changes, that for me, this tournament is still anybody's. Anybody can win this, and Fnatic is definitely a good contender for it.
You know what I'm getting really excited about? Lowell used to be on Fnatic, and he was moved away from the team. Now he plays for Liquid.
Yep.
If Fnatic wins here, they play Liquid next. What a grudge match this will be.
We get to
After
see
we
that
had
quite a bit.
ADRD hating his old team and things.
I'll get you.
This time, it would be time for Lowell to do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's cool to see those kind of things, and it's a little scary to see like a long-term member of your team leaving and then taking all the knowledge that he has built up with your team to another team and knowing all your weaknesses, your strengths, your tendencies.
But this probably applies a lot more when it's just one member going to another team and then playing against you, as much as it in the case of Dignitas, it's like 2 members of Navi went to Dignitas, and then ADRD is like the only one that left, and he was the drafter and maybe even captain. Whereas like now, there's 3 new players on Fnatic, so it feels like such a new team that I don't think it would affect as much, even though Lowell might know one thing or two about Breeze and Mena in particular.
Let's just pause for a moment and imagine what happens when Dignitas plays Navi. Sarmony's on the other side. You got 2 members from Navi on Dignitas now, so that'd
be great if Navi was here.
Yeah, well, admittedly, that's not going to happen just yet. But it'll happen in the future. It'll be fine, don't worry.